Once you have set up the crane that you are going to use and are familiar with the way that it works, you are ready to rig the load. The first step is to make sure that nothing is in the way of the crane. Clear away boxes, tools, or any other materials that may be lying around. Once the area is clear, position the crane directly over the load so that the hoist rope hangs straight down. This will prevent you from making a diagonal lift, which could damage the crane. You must lift the load straight up and down. If you try to lift a load diagonally, you could damage the crane. Next, attach the load. Be sure to put the sling on the hook correctly. A hook is designed to support loads at its center, so never put the sling on the tip of the hook. If you do, the weight could stretch and weaken it. Once you have rigged and attached the load, make sure that everyone you are working with understands standard hand signals. To show that you want to hoist a load, lift your arm, point up, and move your hand in a small horizontal circle. To indicate that you want to lower a load, point your arm downward, extend your index finger, and move your hand in a small horizontal circle. To signal that you want to stop the crane, point your arm out to the side, face your palm to the ground, and move your arm back and forth horizontally. To call for an emergency stop, point both of your arms out to the side, face both palms downward, and move your arms back and forth horizontally. If you are using a boom crane, there are two other hand signals that everyone should know. To signal that you want to raise the boom, extend your arm out to the side, then point your thumb up. To show that you want to lower the boom, extend your arm out to the side and point your thumb down. Once everyone knows how to use the standard hand signals, you are ready to hoist the load. As you begin the lift, pay close attention to the angle of the load. This is the angle between the load and level ground. The best way to lift is with the load parallel to level ground. If the angle of the load exceeds 10 degrees, the load could fall out of the sling, damaging equipment or injuring a coworker. Once you have a load balanced and have hoisted it into the air, you will probably need to travel with it. Be sure to move at low speeds. This lets you see where you are going and at the same time keep an eye on the load. When traveling, it's a good idea to stop periodically to make sure the load is stable. Be sure to avoid sudden stops and starts that could unbalance the load. Always watch where you are going. You should never pass a load over someone or let anyone walk underneath it. If the load fell, it could seriously injure them. You have the greatest control of the load when you use a tag line. A tag line is a piece of rope that is attached to the hoist block or the load itself. By putting tension on the tag line, you can help move the load smoothly and safely to its destination. When you get the load to its stopping point or its destination, be sure to land it. A suspended load is an accident waiting to happen. Someone could walk or drive into the load, or it could fall. As you put it down, lower the load slowly, stopping a few inches from the landing point to make sure everything is secure. Then lower it the rest of the way. Once the load has been landed, the slings should be removed and put back where they belong. This will prevent them from snagging on other objects when the crane starts traveling again. You should also raise the hoist block high enough so that no one will hit their head or run into it with another piece of equipment. By moving the things that take a lot of power to lift, cranes help make our lives easier. But if they aren't used properly, they can cause damage, injury, even death. So knowing how to lift, move, and land a load will not only make our lives easier, it will help to keep us safe as well. Let's review. Familiarize yourself with the type of crane that you are using. Remember to inspect the crane before working with it. Make sure that you and your coworkers know the proper hand signals. Know the weight capacity of the crane before rigging your load. Always position the crane directly over the load. And when lifting, check the angle of the load to make sure that it is level. Safety can sometimes seem like a burden, but by learning to use cranes properly, that load can be lifted off our shoulders.